Hi, welcome to this edition of Michael's Backyard Marina. I'm going to show you today what happens when you don't properly winterize a boat, in particular the motor, obviously. We have a 2.5 liter OMC motor that I pulled off an old Renken boat that somebody probably just stopped using it or did whatever for one winter, found out that the motor had froze over the winter, cracked the block, and I didn't realize this till I bought the boat. I didn't pay much for it, obviously, because it was an old beater boat. And I just needed on the outdrive was all I needed off of it. So I thought, well, I'll see if I can get this old motor running. And you'll see in my videos, this same motor that we're looking at here was actually running and running really good. Seems like it has lots of power and idles well. But then I noticed behind this plate, that's a, what do you call a solenoid plate that controls the trim and whatnot. And I noticed water dripping behind it. So I finally, the other week, removed the plate and was looking behind it. And lo and behold, I'll show you what I found. Okay, folks, now here's what happened to this motor. As you can see right here, there's a huge crack running from right here all the way down along this area right there. Ends right here. And there's another crack that runs right down here. You can see the little black line there showing up on my video. Let's see if we can get focused on it. Right there to right over here. And I haven't finished cleaning off all the whatever somebody put there. Somebody put some kind of, I can't say if it was JB Weld or whatever they tried to do to stop the leak or slow the leak down so that their boat wouldn't sink just from the water being pumped in through the water jacket in the motor. Typically JB Weld's a really awesome product. That's not a good fix for this type of crack here. This type of crack here, what I'm going to try to do and attempt to do is silver solder that crack shut. And a nice thing about silver solder, it's got like a 70,000 pound tensile strength that should hold into that crack really well. It should hold the heating and cooling over time of this motor and expanding and contracting and not develop another leak. So one thing I'm going to do here is I'm going to drill a hole at the end of this small hole, maybe like, maybe at 3/32, maybe up to an 1/8 inch. I don't think I need to go that big, but I'm going to drill a hole here and here at the end of the crack. What that'll do is that'll stop that crack from migrating. And then I'll do the same thing down here. Then I'm going to get the torch out and I'll heat that thing up and see if I can get the silver solder to take. If the silver solder takes, then I've got something great here. The only reason I'm not going with brazing, because typically I like to braze with cast iron, is I got to get the temperature so much hotter with brazing. And I'd have to get this whole thing glowing red. And with silver solder, I don't think I have to get it quite as hot. I think it's about 500 degrees less, which don't sound like a lot, but it makes a difference when you're trying to do something like this. And it'll hold, for this application, I'm not trying to hold it physically together for strength like it's got to support weight. I'm just trying to seal this thing up. That's my main goal here. Like I said, you've seen my other video of this motor possibly. This thing runs like a champ. There's nothing else wrong with the motor other than this crack here and it leaks some water. So if I can stop the leaks, I'll be more than happy to put this motor in another boat. It won't bother me one bit. It'll last for years. And probably that repair I'm going to do will probably outlast the interior workings of the motor itself. But stay tuned. I'm going to finish getting a wire wheel to hold of this, get it cleaned up. I think I got a drain right here. I'm going to drain any fluids I've got in the block right now because I did winterize this thing about a month ago, so it has the antifreeze in it right now. And me draining the antifreeze out of it's not going to hurt anything either, and it can just sit like that the rest of the winter. And I probably won't run it again until next spring or if we get a nice warm spell, because it's been getting cold around here lately and it's freezing, and I don't want to put a lot more water on the ground or in my motor. Then I have to winterize it again. But I'm pretty confident this fix is going to work. Worst case scenario, I do a little burning up in here and my head gasket starts to leak, but I don't think that's going to happen. We'll see. If I have to put a new head gasket on this motor, not a big deal. As you can see around the valve cover how dry this thing is. It hasn't been leaking around the valve cover. It's been a pretty tight motor overall. I'm probably going to pop this oil pan off because it's a little rusty crusty. I might pull that off and repaint it and put a new gasket on there. But this motor would be a pretty tight motor. I'd be happy to put that in another boat if I find another boat that I can switch out with this OMC with this OMC 400 outdrive. So stay tuned. I'm going to do a little wire wheel, a little extra cleaning up, and I'll try to do some little short videos in between while I'm doing some drilling maybe and some silver soldering so you can get a kind of a taste of what I'm doing to make this thing work again. Thank you. Okay, folks, you can see I pulled that plug out I was talking about. It looks like a lot of nice pink fluids coming out. That means my winterization by putting the antifreeze into the block looked pretty effective. The block was pretty full of that antifreeze. It looked just pretty pink. It's running all over my floor right now, but that's a good sign. Okay, folks, we're gonna try it here. We're gonna try the small crack first, see how things go, and then we'll move to the big one. Get the torch all lit up here. I don't know how well you'll be able to see this, but I might speed this up. I'll get life going here. All right, there we go. Looks like the brazing rod worked pretty well. I think over here in this thicker area here is going to be a little tougher because the casting is going to be a little thicker. But it looks pretty good to me so far. I think that'll work. Well, folks, I tried to weld that up, tried to braze it, and as you can see here, I got some brazing done on it. Bad news is there's cracks that developed here. Once that thing probably froze and broke it out, it cracked it, did a bunch of spider cracks type of thing going on. Not saying this was a good way to fix it, but this was my attempt to fix it. But I'm going to say it's a failure, epic failure. But the good news is, always got a bright side, I've got parts. So if anybody needs parts off of this 2.5 liter OMC, let me know. I'll be putting them on eBay, and you can see that the motor was running. It just had a cracked block. Everything else was working on it. So, well, that concludes this episode of Michael's Backyard Marina. Wasn't a success story today, folks, but they can't all be. Without failure, how do you know what success is? So, let me know if you need any boat parts. Got them right here. Just comment down below. I'll probably end up putting some of this stuff on eBay over the winter. Because I got intake manifold, I got carburetor, got a water pump, I got pulleys, I got different things off of here that people can possibly use. So, let me know. And thank you for watching.